All right, for those of us, or excuse me, for those of you joining us, just give a minute here for everyone to get into the room. Just gonna hold on for 1 minute. Thanks. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Especially want to give a special good morning. Thank you and welcome to those joining us live today. I know a lot of people will be viewing this as time goes on, as this is going to be available on demand. So good morning to those joining us live. Otherwise, whatever time of the day, nice to have you here and thanks for being here. Um, just want to go over a couple things before we get started. I'll turn it over to our program host in just a moment. Today is all about exploration. This is about career exploration, and really, there's probably one of three things that's going to happen by the end of the day today when you're finished watching this video or participating in this program. You're either going to collect some information and say, okay, I think I'm on the right track. This is a career I want to pursue. After today, you might have more questions and you need to do a little bit more research. Or the third option is you may get through the end of this video, this program, and say, you know what, actually, I'm not sure if this is what I want to do. I think I might need to look at something else. And I'm here to say all three of those things are okay. You know, this is all about career exploration. And we're trying to figure out what you want to do as you move on after high school and figure out what you want to do for your career. So any one of those three outcomes is an okay outcome. So don't feel any negative feelings if you have any one of those. Just a couple of things I wanted to mention. This is just talking about, you know, why do we explore careers? Why do we do these types of things while we're here in high school? Um, Number one, 80% of college students are going to change their major about 3 times. Um, and I'm sorry, average is going to change 3 times. 80% is going to change at least once. So that means the vast majority of people come into college and they say, you know what, this isn't what I want to do anymore. And they change their mind and they go for a different major. College costs almost $29,000 a year when you look at tuition, room and board, et cetera. A lot of times when you have to go you change majors, you have to go for an extra semester. So that means you've now spent more money and you've delayed getting out and hitting your earning potential with your career because you're still in school for a little bit longer. So what we want you to do is just explore what's out there now, and hopefully you can have a better idea of what you're signing up for and what you're going to be studying or training for after high school. So these exploration programs are important to hopefully get you a little more directed on where you want to go afterwards. We do have about 30 of these that we're offering this year. This is one of many. Some have already happened, so you could go and register and watch the videos, and some will be happening between now and the end of April. So I certainly encourage you, after today, if you're not 100% sure which direction you're going, feel free to check out any of those other programs that we offer. So one last note, and then I'll turn it over to the good part of the program. Number one, thank you so much to Meredith and the team at York Tech for putting all this together today. Really appreciate them doing that. If you have any questions, you don't have to wait for a specific time to ask a question. There's a Q&A function. You can kind of see the little on the screen there, that little box that's going around it. Please use that Q&A function. Enter it at any time. I'll be monitoring that. I'll get to it eventually if I don't ask it right away. I don't want to interrupt someone, but I will ask it right away. If you could, please don't use the chat function for questions. The reason is I may miss that. It's a lot easier for me to monitor Q&A. I don't want to miss anyone's questions. If you do have any, I don't want to miss that. So we'll use the chat for just other links and other things that might be helpful to you. Other than that, I know some of you have various class schedules. We have a bunch of different schools that we represent here. So if for some reason you would have to leave partway through to get to your next class, you can just click on that same link that you used to get here today, and you can pick up the video where you left off. So if for some reason it gets interrupted, you can always come back and watch it afterwards. So, all right, that is it for me. I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to go on video and audio mute here and hang out in the back, and I'll turn it over to our team. Thanks.
Okay, good morning. Can everybody hear me now?
Yep, we're good.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Having a little technical difficulties already. My name is Meredith Edgar. I am the Workforce Development and Outreach Coordinator here at the Adult and Continuing Education Center at York County School of Technology. And today we're here to provide you with some information about a career in commercial driving. And I'm joined today by a few of my colleagues. With me, I have Calvin Wiley, our CDL coordinator.
Thank you.
And I'm also bringing along today for the ride our Career Services Coordinator, Tiffany Graham, and our Assistant Director of Motor Vehicle Academy and Trades, Vance Miller. So today we're going to be sharing some information and showing you some videos about what it's like to learn how to drive a truck, some of the different careers you could have if you go through a CDL driving program, and kind of taking you along for the ride so you can see the view exactly behind the wheel. So today I'm going to start off by showing you a brief video, I think. There we go. And then I will turn the program over to Vance Miller.
Itself probably has a shortage of about 400,000 truck drivers right now, and it's climbing. I mean, just sit back and think about online shopping, where it's come today. Every product that somebody sits on their couch and clicks buy is delivered by a truck. I think the median income around here is a little over $53,000 at entry level. So in 5 weeks, you can leave here and make $53,000 on average. Pretty darn good when you're talking, a couple $1,000 as opposed to a 4-year college degree. And most of those guys are hitting the pavement and doing $35,000 a year at entry level stuff. So when you start looking at it in that way, it's huge. You get to drive around, see the country. That license is very valuable. Somebody with my background, I can move anywhere and pick up a job tomorrow. I could pack my family up and move to Hawaii and have a truck driving job tomorrow. So it's very powerful. You're not sitting in a cubicle. You're not in a factory doing the same things every day, standing in one spot. You're out seeing the country. There's a lot of beautiful country out there to see.
Okay, Vance, why don't you tell us a little bit about careers in commercial driving?
Yeah, so, as I said in the video there, it's not your typical 9 to 5 job. You're not sitting behind a desk. You're not doing regular hours. I will say this, truck drivers do work long hours. You're going to be expected to put in 14-hour days. And if you're over the road or regional, you're going to be away from home during that time. But again, the trade-off is a little bit of freedom of being out and about, somewhat being your own boss in the fact that you don't have somebody, over your shoulder every day. And I mentioned in there is a current shortage. I just looked it up, the latest stat. In order for this country to be up to speed with the amount of drivers that are needed right now, they need to hire 900,000 drivers. That's from the American Trucking Association stat from yesterday, which to me is incredible. But it makes sense, like said in the video. If you see how much more with the pandemic you're buying stuff from home and it's being shipped to your door, it makes total sense and it's very understandable. Everything you own is brought by a truck. What the materials that were used to build your house were brought in by a truck. 70% of all goods that are purchased are moved by truck drivers. Truck driving industry holds almost 6% of the workforce in America. And it doesn't sound like a lot, 6%, but if you think of all the jobs that are out there, from working at Burger King, flipping burgers, to working in manufacturing in a warehouse, 6% of all the jobs are truck driver related. So it's huge industry, billion-dollar industry, and obviously is in need of people. I can't say anything bad about it. It's a great career to get involved in. The sky's the limit. You're not just going to be limited to being a truck driver. You can get into dispatching management like myself. I started off going through a school just like we have here. And now here I am, the director of the current tech school. So it's like any job. It'll be what you make it. You want to make it fun and enjoyable, it'll be fun and enjoyable. There's a lot of beautiful country out there, like I said in the video. And why not get paid to go out and see it, and get paid well to go out and see it without accruing a bunch of debt? I mean, the cost to come to our school, you can put on a credit card and have it paid off in months. So nice trade-off there to be able to earn upwards of $53,000. And there's companies out there that pay upwards of $100,000 if you get in with the right company. Probably not entry level right out of the gate. But you know, there's also companies that have truck drivers that are making 35, 40,000. Most of those guys are probably home every night with their families, and that's the trade-off. Home every night with your family, make a little less, go out over the road, be away from your family and friends, and make a significant amount more. So that being said, I mean, there's kind of the breakdown of the trucking industry as a whole. Plenty of opportunities out there. Like I stated in the video, if you have that CDL license, you can move anywhere, even at entry level, and start into the industry. You could come through our school and 5 weeks from now, move down to Florida and find a truck driving job and move your whole family to Florida. It really is that simple. So that being said, I'll go ahead and turn it back over to Meredith.
Okay, thank you, Vance. Now I'm going to reintroduce Mr. Calvin Wiley, our CDL coordinator, and he is going to tell us about some of the opportunities that students who go through this type of program have apart from just driving the big rigs. Calvin?
Yes, we've had opportunities, not just in the truck driving industry, but in the trades, such as welding, electronics. We've had companies that have hired our drivers, not just to drive trucks, but they'll cross-train them as well. We have some opportunities in owner-operators that they'll buy their own, purchase their own trucks. I just had a gentleman who left the school about 1.5 years ago, and he's now purchasing his second truck. We're doing some flatbed work. We pick up some steel for the school. We're also looking into the opportunities of doing car hauling, which I'm sure Vance will touch on a little later on. But there's so many opportunities in the school that we do. We've had, and I just had a gentleman who graduated 1.5 years ago. His first year, he made $60,000. His second year, he made over $100,000 with the company. So the money's out there to be made. They pay their, the benefits are unbelievable, and the opportunities are there. As Vance has said, there's 400,000 jobs available, and we have a lot of opportunities just here in York, Pennsylvania, to get people employed.
Thank you. Now we're going to show a brief video about some of the other vehicles you can learn to drive that aren't just big rigs.
So here we'll just go down the line of some different type of commercial vehicles. This is a Class B bus, transit bus, similar to a school bus, but doesn't have quite as many requirements as a school bus would have to have. You don't need a special license.
Meredith, I think we lost the sound on the video.
Yeah, unmute yourself. It might.
Tractor, what we just drove in, this is an older style Western Star, 48-foot trailer on the back of that one. Everybody's favorite, the Cadillac of the trucking industry, the Peterbilts. Here we got a car carrier. Car carrier is a different configuration. It's a specialty hauling vehicle. You don't need a special license to drive it, but you do need to know how to operate these things, as they do run a little different. The reason being is the way it's connected. Standard tractor trailer has a fifth wheel and a pivot point right here between the two axles. You can see there. This one has what they call a low fifth wheel. Sits down at the ground behind the vehicle, which changes the pivot point and makes it a totally different operating Class A vehicle as far as maneuverability. Here's a flatbed trailer. Sure, you've all seen them around. That's what hauling the more of your building products. And we have one more car carrier over here. It's a Class B unit. Class B units are single units. Class A are combination vehicles. This one does not have a trailer. It still has the capability to haul 5 vehicles. Class A license is not required to operate this. Class B license would be sufficient. There's a variety of things you can do, and this is just a small sample. There's so many more different variations that are available in the commercial truck driving world.
Okay. Now I'm going to throw it back over to Vance to talk about the kind of learning that you'll do in the classroom side of obtaining your Class A CDL. Vance?
Yeah, so, Calvin alluded to the car hauling piece there, which is something we'll be teaching somewhere down the road. We're working on the curriculum right now with the Auto Hauler Association of America, which will allow us to be the first school across the country doing that kind of training. So that'll probably be different than what our regular 5-week program is. It'll be an addition to, but the 5-week program pretty much breaks down. First week is going to be in the classroom. It's going to be a lot of book work, a lot of video work, learning what you need to learn to obtain your permit from PennDOT. There's a lot of rules and regulations involved in the trucking industry, and it's all governed by the federal government. The Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration governs all commercial truck driving as it pertains to you as a driver, company owner. Therefore, there's a lot of qualifications and or knowledge that you need to have. You don't need to know everything, but you need to know what pertains to you. And that first week will be a crunch course on that. Second, third, fourth, and fifth weeks will all be up in the yard, working hands-on with the truck, understanding what a pre-trip inspection is and going through that and mastering it. So you can do that every day. You'll be able to walk up to your truck, look at it, identify stuff that's going wrong. Also, we'll be working on backing maneuvers. We have 4 or 5 different backing maneuvers we work on up there on a daily basis. And then you'll go out on the road and you'll learn how to shift these things. And in one of the videos coming up, we talk about double clutching. In my opinion, probably the hardest part about learning how to drive a truck is learning how to shift them because of the double clutch process. But by the end of that 5 weeks, you guys will have double clutching down. Maybe not mastered. Myself, I got 30 years into the business. I still grind and chatter gears because I don't have it, completely mastered. It's a thing. It's going to be human error. I find when I get tired, I end up chattering gears more than normal. Difference will be like if I chatter a gear as opposed to somebody new, you're probably only going to hear a little chatter, the engine rev a little bit, it's going to go into gear and head down the highway, where I'm sure all of you have probably seen somebody at an intersection just grinding the crap out of gears and trying to figure out where they need to get it into. And that's what we're trying to teach you not to have happen. We'll at least give you the knowledge of how to correct it and make it right. And I do go over that a little bit in one of the videos coming up. So, but yeah, by the end of the 5 weeks, we are state certified test sites. So you will test right here with us, with the people that are working with you. Maybe not the one that worked with you, the majority of the time, but someone like myself will come out of my little cubicle that I'm hiding in and administer the test for you. Trust me, you will be prepared to pass that test. That's our goal, is to make sure that you know how to operate that vehicle properly. Not just to pass the test and get the license, but to be able to go to a trucking company and wow the guy that's giving you the road test there. So he knows that you understand exactly what's going to be required of you to operate that piece of equipment for their company. Trucks are not cheap. It's my car haulers, and this was probably 15 years ago, brand new car haulers were $250,000 just to buy the truck. That's not counting maintaining them. And maintaining them is very expensive too. But just to give you an idea, most trucks hold about 300 gallons of fuel. Prices when I got out of truck driving on a daily basis were over $4 a gallon. It was costing me $800 every 2 days to fill my tanks. So it's a very expensive industry to get into. However, the money is there and very rewarding. So in 5 weeks to be able to do that at the cost we're looking at, and again, to go back out to making 50,000 plus or more a year, I don't know why everybody isn't doing it, to be honest with you. You know, maybe it's not your cup of tea, but we all grew up wanting to drive trucks and heavy equipment. And here's an opportunity now to be able to fulfill that dream. So go ahead and show you, we have a truck driving simulator in this class. We use it more to help people that are struggling with the double clutch concept, as I spoke about earlier, being one of the more difficult things to learn. We're just going to show you a video here quick of what the simulator looks like.
All right, while I get this video to load, Calvin, can you tell the students a little bit more about what you might learn in the classroom?
Sure. In the classroom, what we do is we'll teach you the basic principles of the truck driving, teach you how to do the testing for learning how to get your permit. We'll also instruct you on the different endorsements, the doubles, triples, hazmat, tanker, all the aspects of the trucking industry. The more you have on your license, the more opportunities you have at getting a job or getting a better job as you get out of this classrooms. We have a great deal of our sorry our passing rate. Our passing rate is awesome. Our job hiring rate is even better yet. So when you get out of the school, you'll plan on getting a job. If you don't get a job, it's because you don't want to get a job. And like I say, we have a lot of opportunities out there to get you employed, and we'll get you through the schooling. It's a 40-hour class. It's Monday through Thursday. They're 10-hour class days. So we'll go through, as Vance said, we'll go through a lot of videos, and we'll teach you as much as we can as far as the trucking industry goes.
Okay, thank you. And I think our video is ready to go.
Every 5 to 7 seconds. By the best.
Okay, Vance, can you tell us a little bit more about what the students might learn when they're driving the simulator?
Yeah, the simulator is really a good tool to help you learn how to double clutch and get your timing down. Double clutching, I'll go over that briefly because it can get pretty detailed. But in a typical car or pickup truck with a manual transmission, the synchronizers are built into those transmissions. So you push the clutch the whole way to the floor, you shift gears, you let the clutch out, and you go. In a tractor trailer, what double clutching is you become the synchronizer. So you're synchronizing the road speed with the right gear and the proper RPMs. If one of those three things aren't going to line up, you're going to hear the grinding. If all three of those line up perfectly, you can shift that thing with 2 fingers and it's smooth as butter. So once you get the hang of it, shifting becomes very easy. Upshifting and downshifting are a little bit different. They still require the double clutch, but it's all based on RPMs and road speed. So if you're going down a hill and you push the clutch in, logic tells you the truck's going to probably go faster, which is going to change the road speed, which change the RPMs and the gear eventually. So that was the quick brief thing on that, and that's where the simulator comes in handy. It's a no stress situation. You don't have vehicles around you where you're stuck in the middle of an intersection trying to figure out what gear to get into, and it allows the student to be more level headed and clear. A lot of stuff comes up on the first screen there in the dash. I don't know if you can see it. The speed was there. It tells you what gear you're in. The gauges down on the gauge are identical to what you would see in the truck. The transmission is set up identical to what you would do in our trucks up in the yard. And it even has an inclement weather piece to it too, where you can drive in the snow. And we go over that in the classroom, you know, hazardous driving, inclement weather driving, proper following distances and speeds for different conditions, you know, how to time yourself for a traffic light, looking in the mirrors every 5 to 7 seconds to know what's going on around you. Remember, we deem this professional truck drivers. So you are a professional. In order to be a professional, you need to be aware of what's going on around you at all times. So it's a very handy tool. Again, I wouldn't want you to learn strictly on this, but if you're struggling in an area, it teaches you how to do right-hand turns, to swing wide and not put the trailer up on the sidewalk or hit a telephone pole or whatever, without actually going up on the sidewalk and hitting a telephone pole with one of our trucks. So it's very cost effective in that respect. And again, it's a good learning tool. Once you use those aspects out in the truck, it all kind of comes together for you. And we find a lot of value in it and appreciate it. So
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, Tiffany?
All right, I'm sitting here listening, and first of all, I really need to try that simulator out sometime. It's right next to my office, and I've never sat in it, and I think it looks pretty cool, and I'm really curious to see if I can actually do that double shift. I love driving 5-speed, so like if I could do that, just maybe I'll have to go give that a shot one day. I'm sitting here and I'm just thinking about different things in the truck driving industry, and we were going to ask and poll our audience, but being that this is recorded and a lot of people are watching this later, I just thought I'm going to throw some questions out to our gentlemen that are with us that have truck driving experience. One thing I always wanted to know, how large is the blind spot on the side of a truck when you are passing them on the highway? You always hear about make sure you stay out of the blind spot, you don't sit in certain areas. How big is that blind spot? And what should you do to make sure that the trucker can always see you? Calvin, you want to answer that?
On the right side or on the passenger side, I would say 25 to 30 feet. On the driver's side, it's probably not so bad. It's probably like 15 feet. And then you have to watch the front corners. I'm a very avid person of using the mirrors that are on the fenders. I like using them the most because I can see the most. Not as much as the West Coast mirrors, but basically there's a lot of blind spots on a tractor trailer, and we're roughly right around 60 to 65 feet with a 53-foot tractor and trailer. So you have to really pay attention when you're driving. Vance?
yeah, I mean, just because it has 18 wheels don't mean it can stop faster. It's the exact opposite. Those things are rated at 80,000 pounds, you know, with freight and the vehicle all combined. That's 80,000 pounds going 65 miles an hour. It just does not stop as quick as what you would think. And if you're in a driver's blind spot, he doesn't know you're there. So even though he might be looking at his mirrors every 5 to 7 seconds, if you're in a blind spot, he does not know you are there. And if something happens where he has to change lanes quickly and you're in that blind spot, it's not going to end well. So remember, those guys, there's restrictions to what they can and can't see that you are able to see better in a car. And you know, you need to be aware that they do not stop on a dime.
All right, thank you. And another question. Whenever I see truckers or think mostly about truckers, I'm usually at a rest area somewhere, you know, stop and use the bathroom, grab a snack. I've always seen these truckers come out with these gallon-sized big gulps, and I often wonder, I don't know how you drink that and don't stop to pee every 2 minutes, but that's another story. But anyway, what was your favorite snack that you took with you on the road, Vance?
Oh boy. Well, that's probably one of the hazards of driving is keeping snacks within arm's reach. Not moving a whole lot. You're sitting in a seat, and if you're sitting there snacking the whole time, you can probably figure out what's going to happen. You're going to put on a few excessive pounds. So you had to kind of be careful with what you ate. I'm not going to lie, man. I was big on candy, hard candy. I wouldn't eat as much of it because it would last a little longer, but hard candy was probably my thing. Swedish fish was probably my weakness. A big giant bag of Swedish fish, I can devour them pretty quickly. So,
All right, thanks.
the trucks are equipped with refrigerators in them too. And so you can keep water, whatever your favorite beverage is, to keep it hydrated. As Tiffany alluded to, though, you will have to stop and use the restroom the more you drink.
Calvin, what about you? What were your favorite snacks?
I was not a snacker, but I would drink coffee all day and all night. I always carried at least 2 thermoses with me every time I went out on the road, and they were ready to go at all times. I would put one of the thermoses on my seat and one between the seats. That way I could have real easy reach to it at any time. So coffee was my downfall.
All right, thank you. Next, we're going to take a look at one of our alumni, and he's just going to share a little bit about his experience within our trucking school.
I've been with Baltimore City Police Department almost 21 years now. Being in law enforcement that long is a good career, but I just need a career change. I'm trying to get into the truck driving industry. It's a good career. Our Motor Vehicle Academy consists of professional truck driving school, commercial driver's license testing, non-commercial driver's license testing, as well as driver education. My ultimate goal is to own my own business, be an independent operator. I think this school will allow me to change careers and provide me with the training and the skills that I need to move forward in owning my own.
Okay, sorry, the video cut off a little early. The next thing we're going to do is head out to the CDL yard where we're going to take a look at the trucks and take you guys along for the ride. So I'm going to throw it back over to Vance, who's going to talk a little bit about pre-trip inspection safety, and then we'll take you on a tour of the truck. Vance?
Yeah. So every day, I mentioned earlier, every day you're going to do a walk around pre-trip inspection. As part of the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration rules and regulations you have to follow. You'll do that every day here at our school. You'll have it memorized, down pat. And really what you're doing is you're making sure that piece of equipment is safe to be on the roads. You got to remember, it's my family and yours that those trucks are riding next to, and we need to make sure they're in good operating condition. Not to mention, again, it's 80,000 pounds. So you will learn what it takes to identify certain problems and troubleshoot them. And you'll know what to do when you do identify it, who to get the information to, and how to go ahead and get it fixed. It all starts with just a walk around, which is 1/3 of your final test to get your Class A license or Class B license, whichever you're going for, is the pre-trip inspection. Brake test is part of that. Not going to go into that with you today, but you will learn and have all that so memorized that if you fail, if you're one of my students and you fail that part of it, I'm going to probably hit you with my clipboard, because shame on you. You go over it so many times, it should be locked into your memory. Second part of the test is going to be backing skills, learning how to maneuver through the various difference, offset backing left, right, parallel park, conventional and sight side, alley dock, straight line backing maneuvers. You'll understand how to do all them, how to manipulate that trailer. It's not like backing a car, trust me. And if any of you ever backed a riding mower with a little trailer on it, you know how difficult that can be. These are a little easier. They don't move quite as quickly. I think they do 1 inch over 10 feet. is how they move. So they don't move that fast when you're jacking them around like a lawnmower trailer would. But you'll understand all that. You'll learn all that. You'll know how to set yourself up going forward to back that thing into wherever you're backing it into. Then the final part of the test is going to be a road test. Going out on a road and demonstrating that you know how to operate that 65-foot piece of equipment on the local and federal highways. So again, each truck has its own little variances as to what you're going to inspect and look at them, but we'll go ahead and roll a video of us going down the highway and give you a little taste of it.
Okay, so here we are at the York County School of Technology Adult and Continuing Ed CDL training site. I'll give you a quick walk around of this vehicle right here, show you what a Class A tractor trailer is all about. They're all diesel powered for maximum torque. These pieces of equipment haul 80,000 plus pounds down the highway. We'll give you a view of the inside of the engine compartment just to show you how big these engines really are. And keep in mind, these are all, most of them are 6 cylinders. As you can see, there is a lot of motor inside that engine compartment. A lot of components. Every one of these components need to be inspected by the driver on a daily basis. Checking hoses for cracks, lines for leaks. Give you a quick shot of the brake assembly here. That's a slack adjuster, brake chamber, and of course the inside of the wheel where the brakes and the lining are drum. Tires are very expensive on these pieces of equipment. Steering tires run somewhere around $300 to $400 a piece. So they're not cheap. Go ahead and walk back along the truck here real quick. This here appears to have dual 120s or 150 tanks, so you're looking at close to 300 gallons of fuel on these vehicles on any given time.
7 miles to the gallon.
Yeah, they average about 7 miles to the gallon. Some less, some more. We'll give you a quick view of the interior here. Nice big sleeper back here so guys can drive. When they get tired, they can pull over, utilizing maximum time on the road. See our manual transmission here. Most trucks, most common trucks are 10 speeds, but they do make 13, 15, and 18 speed transmissions, all to do various different things utilized for different stuff. Massive gauges on the dashboard here. This keeps the driver informed of what's going on with everything in the vehicle as far as transmission temperatures, engine temperature, air pressure. All this stuff needs to be gone over on a daily basis to make sure the vehicle is operating properly. Go ahead and walk back the trailer. Truck and trailers are attached by what we call a fifth wheel. That's a fifth wheel right there. Configuration of metal, pins, and bolts. Giant kingpin holds the trailer to the tractor. Airline feeds it so the brakes can be released. Shot of the drive shaft is a massive drive shaft. Tractors come in different sizes. This is a twin screw, dual axle tractor. They make them in singles, all less weight. Each axle is weight rated. Landing gear. Trailers come in different sizes as well. Here's a 53-foot trailer. Pretty common in today's world because we can get more freight in them. They do make 28-foot pups where you put a doubles. Probably seen them going down the road. Make them 45-foot, 48-foot. trailer also has a tandem axle on it as well, maximize the weight. This is a sliding tandem, so you can move these and adjust your weight accordingly. Overall length of this vehicle is probably somewhere around 65 to 68 feet. Pretty much the norm. You're pulling a 53-foot trailer. Keep that in mind whenever you're trying to go around one of these guys. They're big. They take up a lot of space. Payload on this trailer is probably rated at about 65,000 pounds, but you're not going to put that much in it. You're probably going to put somewhere between 45,000 to 48,000 in it, depending on what your tractor weighs. The combination weight of these two cannot exceed 80,000 pounds. The tractor must be rated at 26,001 or more in order to be legal as a Class A transportation unit. So we'll go ahead and jump in the truck and take a ride down the road and show you what we got.
Okay, as the video said, we're going to jump in the driver's seat and we're going to drive you guys around York County so you can see what it's like behind the wheel. And this, remember, would be your view if you decide to get into the trucking field.
Okay, so here we go. We're in the truck, getting ready to head down the road. Our air pressure's filled up so we can release the brakes and start moving the vehicle. These trucks are equipped with many mirrors. You can see them out on the fenders. That helps give the driver a view of all the vehicles and action going on around him. See the trailer in the side mirror there as we're making a turn. And the little convex in the mirror in the bottom gives you a little bit broader spectrum view of everything. That little mirror on the bottom there, the convex mirror, in my opinion, is the most important mirror on the truck. You learn how to utilize that because there's a lot of blind spots on this side of the vehicle. This one helps expose a lot of those blind spots. Just going to take a little trip around the block. Show you what it's like, the views from inside the cab. I don't know if you can see that spot mirror out there on the fender, the view you're going to get there, but watch this as we make this turn. You can see the trailer in that mirror as well. Very important for the driver to be able to see what's going on. Remember, this thing is 65 feet long. One of the things we teach here at the school is how to double clutch. When we get moving down the road, I'll show you the feet on the clutch and what a double clutch actually is. Give you a little brief insight on that. See how the trailer straightens out in the mirror and follows the tractor right down the road. Student driver in front of us as we speak. See if I can get an angle on the feet here while we're doing some double clutching. double clutch. When you come to school, we'll explain all that to you in more detail. Sounds more difficult than it actually is.
That was a little blotchy, but it.
Description of why we double clutch is in a regular car or pickup truck, the transmissions are synchronized. And tractor trailers are called unsynchronized transmissions. And what that means is you as the driver of the synchronizer, you're synchronizing the road speed with the proper gear and the right RPMs in order for that to be able to shift gears smoothly. Cars and trucks have that built into them, and it allows it to shift smoothly just by pushing the clutch the whole way to the floor. Here, the driver has to coordinate and organize those three things, make them all match up right for it to shift smoothly. Truck driving can be a fun, rewarding career in many ways. There's a lot of room for growth in the trucking industry. But what I enjoyed about it when I drove is, as you can see, it's a very beautiful day out today. We're not sitting behind a desk. We're not working in a factory that's dark and dingy. We're outside enjoying the nice blue skies. You can listen to the radio, play a tape, listen to audiobooks. A lot of drivers listen to audiobooks while they drive and take advantage of the time to learn. It's nice to get to see the country too while you're getting paid to do so. This is a very beautiful country that we live in. Many people don't have the opportunity to experience what all it has. Truck drivers get to do it every day while they're working. Go out here on the highway, do a little highway driving. Obviously, because of the size of these vehicles, it's much more comfortable for a truck driver to be driving on a 4-lane highway than it is a back road. Not as much to focus on other than what's going on around you. Not making sharp turns, worrying about putting the trailer up on the curb or taking a turn wide or somebody trying to cut in behind you or around you. But it still is necessary for drivers to be looking in their mirrors on a regular basis. We teach every 6 to 8 seconds, do a traffic check in the mirrors. Make sure you understand and know what's going on around you at all times. Part of the professional aspect of driving. Things most people probably do not do in their cars. Another thing you'll notice trucks do a lot is leave a nice big gap between them and the vehicle in front of them. Regardless of what people might think, because it has 18 wheels, it does not stop as easily as you would think it would. Remember, it's pulling 80,000 pounds, and it takes a lot of distance for 80,000 pounds to come to a stop. There's quite a few trucks in front of us up here. The thing about truck driving and the reason why there's so many trucks on the road is everything that you own was delivered by a truck. Even the material to build the house you live in was delivered by a truck. You go on Amazon and you order stuff. The next step for that product is to be loaded on a truck and brought to your house. Shoes on your feet. The phone that you're looking at all day long and texting on. The couch you're sitting on, the carpet on the floor, the bed that you sleep on at night, the shoes you put on your feet, the clothes you put on your back. Everything you purchase and buy is delivered by a truck. That's what makes truck driving such an important profession. So we're going past an RV center. They're kind of like mini trailers. Still have to know how to back them up too as well. Don't need a special license for something that small though, and that size. However, it's a good idea to know how to operate and back up a truck and trailer. So the trucking industry as a whole is probably short somewhere around 400,000 drivers nationwide. Reason being is you have guys retiring, companies growing, expanding, more people buying, more products to be delivered, equates to more jobs constantly being available and open. Good for the driver because it drives wages up. Product demand, driver demand, only bodes well for truck drivers and the wages that they earn. Currently, right now in the state of Pennsylvania, the median income for a truck driver, CDL licensed truck driver, a little over 50,000. Based on the industry you get in there, that could jump up to 100,000 or go down to 35,000. You're running local. Maybe you're running a local lumber truck, you're paid hourly, you're not going to make quite as much money as a guy driving over the road. Benefit there is you're home every night with your family. The over-the-road guy that makes more money is out away from his family. Kind of a give and take of the industry. As with any job though, this will be what you want to make it. You want to make it fun and enjoyable, see the world, it will be fun and enjoyable and you will see the world. If you want to complain about it like a lot of people do with their jobs, it won't be that much fun. I don't know how you could not, as little boys and girls growing up, we always dream about driving big stuff like this or playing with big heavy equipment. So here's the opportunity to live out your childhood dream. Drive a truck on the open highway.
All right. Thank you, Vance, and Calvin for driving us around York and showing us what life is like behind the wheel. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Tiffany. Again, she's our Career Services Coordinator, and she's going to give you a little information about what it takes to enter a CDL school such as ours and all the requirements that you need to do. Tiffany?
Thank you. Yes, if you'd like to apply for a program or register for the program, first things first, you have to be 18 years of age in order to obtain your CDL license. So you would definitely have to wait till your 18th birthday. In order to get into the program, though, you'd have to fill out the registration form. We need a copy of your driver's license. You also have to have your raised seal birth certificate or a passport. PennDOT requires those documents when you go there to take your permit test for the CDL program. You will also pass a drug test and be sent for your DOT physical. DOT physicals are required for any CDL license holder, and that's something that you have to carry on you at all times. So something you'd always want to keep in your pocket is your DOT card once you acquire it. If you'd like to learn more about our program, please feel free to stop by the school at any time and see me. You can actually come to York County School of Technology. You just enter the parking lot from the South Queen Street entrance and enter in through door number 45. It's the Adult and Continuing Education Center door. It says CDL on it real big, so you'll know you're at the right spot. You can just come in and ask for me, and I would be more than happy to sit down with you, give you a little bit more detail about the program and help you get through that paperwork that's required to enter our program. We do run CDL classes every 5 weeks. So it's not like, hey, if you don't get in tomorrow, are you going to miss it? And is it 6 months down the road? No, we actually run them every 5 weeks. So We take roughly 8 students a class, especially right now. We like to keep our classes small to promote social distancing, but also this allows you a lot of one-on-one time with your instructor. So if there's certain areas where maybe you're struggling a little bit or need a little extra help, they are there to help you. So when Vance said before, we're going to get you in, you're going to pass that test in 5 weeks. Absolutely. As long as you come to school every day and you participate in class, you will have absolutely no problem passing your CDL license at the end of the 5 weeks. So I'd love to talk to you more about it. Again, please feel free to stop by and see us. We're open Monday through Fridays. Carol's here on Saturdays, so you can stop and pick information up at that time as well. Also, I realize that there's a lot of students or younger people out there on this call, but if you happen to have a family member that is a veteran, we have the CMVOST grant. We actually were awarded a grant again to put roughly 25 veterans through our CDL program at no cost. So super huge. If, maybe your dad is a veteran and he's looking for a career change and, this might be something that he'd be interested in, feel free to send them our way because I'd love to talk to him and tell him about how we'd be able to help him obtain his CDL license as well. All right. I think that's all I have. I look forward to meeting you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany. And we're going to close today with just sharing a very brief video from one of our former alumni. Her name is Kristen.
Quick, 5 weeks and you're done and you will have a great career. It was amazing how many companies came in and just wanted to recruit you basically, and you have so many options, so many choices out there. I always loved to travel. That was a big choice in going with the CDL. The pay is amazing, what is out there, and just knowing that you could move to any state and get a job, it's unbelievable. Being a mother free, having multiple small jobs was just getting us by. It's not going to be paycheck to paycheck anymore. It's definitely going to be a life-changing experience to provide for the family.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Kevin, have any questions popped up in the chat that we need to address?
No, nothing's popped up. I did want to mention though, I did put into the chat, and I hope that's the right link, but I did put a link to the to this program from the Adult Ed website. I hope that's the right one, but I just want to put that out there because that will show up in the recording for those that are going to be watching it later. That way they can check that out.
Excellent.
They didn't have anything, but I'll tell you what, I'll ask one question that's not necessarily a CDL career question, but as drivers, as amateur drivers that are just trying to get to and from, what are some of the best things some of these younger people listening to, what can they do to be safe, to help truck drivers when they're just driving their regular old 5-passenger cars? What can they do to help everyone out? The
biggest thing I would suggest everybody does is if you're going to pass a truck, pass them. Don't sit there alongside of them and fall into a blind spot. If you're going to pass them, pass them. And keep in mind, if that turn signal is flashing to the right, a lot of times right-hand turns, they got to swing them a little wide, so they may come to their left a little bit to navigate that turn. That doesn't mean you can pass them on the right because they opened up that right-hand side. That means they need to take that extra room to the left to be able to make sure that trailer doesn't come back right and, take a pole out or something. So pay attention to the signals. And if you're going to pass them, pass them. That's what I would say are the biggest things to do around a truck.
Kevin, I am by far from a professional truck driver, but one thing I have learned in my experience in workforce development and case management is that one important thing that students can do is keep a clean driving record, because when you go into the CDL field, and these gentlemen will correct me if I'm wrong, the cleaner your driving record, the better chance you're going to have of getting a really good job. So no running past school buses, no excessive speeding, no points, things like that.
Yeah, a clean license is definitely key. It could be the difference between having 20 job offers, or if you have a bad license, you're getting one job offer or maybe none. It's all insurance related, and insurance is going to look at your driving record before they let you drive a 65-foot piece of equipment.
I can speak from near personal experience because a family member of mine is a truck driver for a living, and he, being mentioned at the start of it, he had sort of the 9 to 5, leave in the morning, come back by the evening job, but he didn't want that job. It's just that he was driving a smaller delivery truck because that was at the time he didn't qualify to get a CDL license because he had some things that needed to fall off of his driving record. But he now travels across the country. I mean, he's constantly in Texas, Chicago, he's all over the place. And that's what he always wanted. So he did get there eventually, but he had to wait a few years to get to what he wanted because he did some silly things in his own car, made some decisions he shouldn't have made. So
There you
he had to
go.
wait a little bit. But yeah, that's another good PSA to try and keep that driving record safe. Don't go getting burnouts and reckless driving marks
Exactly.
on your background.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
just remember, if you can't see the truck driver in the mirror, he can't see you. And I think my biggest pet peeve is cell phones and texting. Such a dangerous thing. When I started driving back in 1978, which is a long time ago, we didn't have cell phones. So that wasn't part of the problem. Today, it's just so much problems with cell phones and texting, and it only takes 2 seconds to go 100 feet.
Doing makeup. I see women doing their makeup going down the road. I'm like, holy smokes, you're just setting yourself up for disaster. Please don't stop in the middle of the road. If something's on the road, do not stop. Because again, those trucks cannot stop. Keep moving, drive over it, take the damage to your car rather than get hit.
Okay.
Right. Well, thank you all. If I'm not seeing any questions coming in, thank you all for being here today. Really appreciate it. Again, there's everyone's contact information's up there on the screen. If you do have any questions, feel free to email them, and hopefully they'll get them answered pretty quickly. So
Can I
thank
add
you all
one
for.
thing?
Oh, go ahead, Tiffany.
Sorry. I just wanted to mention we are having an open house here at the school on Wednesday, April 7th from 5 to 7 p.m. We will have a CDL truck here. We usually have one at the school. So if you're interested in actually coming and crawling in one and really getting a feel for what it would be like, please come and join us. We just ask that you wear a mask to that. But again, it's Wednesday, April 7th from 5 to 7 p.m. Thanks.
Will the simulator be working or not working? Will it be available for anyone that wants to try and use that?
Sure, we can get that set up. Absolutely.
That was, I know when we're looking forward to eventually getting these programs back to in person, but I know that was a highlight of the program last time to actually be able to sit in the simulator. So hopefully we'll be back to normal very soon. So
Thank you.
all right. Well, hey, thank you all so much. Have a great weekend. Really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.